Yeah. Bachcho, I have uploaded one Excel file. That Excel file contains different variables like year is given. That indicates the time period like 1980 to 2020 data is available. Suppose GDP series is given. Okay. Time period T is given 1 for 1980 and so on up to 41st year, that is 2021. There's a data of 41 years. Now, suppose I am taking the example of India and I am creating two proxy variables of Z1 represent the mild liberalization, Z2 represent the extensive liberalization period. So Z1 would be zero before what do you say 1985, and from 1985 onwards it would be T minus T star. Okay, it means 1985 minus 85 0, 1986 minus 85 1, 1987 minus 1985 2, and so on. Right. Similarly, Z2 is the proxy variable that represent the extensive liberalization phase. Means up to means before 1991 it is zero. From 1990 on one onwards, this is T minus T star. Since T star is 1991 in this case, so 1991 minus 91 0, 1992 minus 1991 1, 1993 minus 1991 2, and so on. Right? So these two variables have been created. Log of GDP has been taken as the natural log of GDP. Now I want to show you how to test the restrictions using Gretel and how to see the joint significance of two coefficients. Let me tell you something. You know, some theory about these tests. For example, I am regressing log of GDP, right? So this is alpha naught plus beta t. Now beta cap will be my average annual growth rate. Okay. So if I multiply this by 100, then beta cap can be written as average annual growth rate in percentage. Okay. This is average annual growth rate in percentage, right? Then I want suppose to know compound annual growth rate CAGR, that can be written as anti-log of beta cap minus 1 into 100. बच्चे इस लेक्चर को ध्यान से देख लो. Most of the time uh, the students are they are not aware how to compute growth rates. Simply you regress, it's a semi-log regression, regress log of GDP on T. Okay, you will be computing the average annual growth rate as a beta cap. Okay, take the anti-log of beta cap minus 1 into 100 will give you CAGR. Now whether this growth rate is statistically significant or not, you can see from the Z statistics of this beta cap. Okay, if this is statistically significant, we say overall growth rate is significant, otherwise not. Okay, now here beta cap is beta cap is average annual growth rate in entire period. Okay, suppose I want to see what are the growth rates in three sub periods. What are the growth rates in three sub periods? Then I will be estimating a piecewise regression line to see the growth rates in three sub periods. Now, as I have told you, the sub periods are number one, before liberalization period, that is pre 1985 era. Okay, or we can see, we can write it as before mild liberalization period. ठीक है. Number two, the period of mild liberalization growth rate. Okay. And number three, growth rate in growth rate in extensive liberalization era, right? That is post 1991 era. The three growth rates are required now, though entire growth rate we have already computed with the above regression, log GDP is regressed upon T. Now we need to estimate a piecewise linear regression so as we can estimate three separate growth rates. Now the piecewise regression can be written as log of GDP will be regressed upon the alpha naught plus alpha 1 T plus alpha 2 Z1 plus alpha 3 Z2 plus UT. Now, if we will estimate this regression with the OLS method, what we will be getting? Alpha 1 will be, obviously you will multiply this with 100 to get in percentage, average annual growth rate in pre-liberalization era, right? Alpha 2 would be alpha 1 plus alpha 2 would be average annual growth rate in mild liberalization era. What has happened? Yeah, alpha 1 plus alpha 2 average annual growth rate in mild liberalization era, and alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus alpha 3 will be average annual growth rate.
So,
No, no, no. Yes, yes. Alpha 1 plus alpha 3. Average annual growth rate in post, uh, in extensive liberalization era.
so I have a doubt.
Yes.
So, isn't alpha 1 the average annual growth rate for the entire period of analysis?
No, 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 not at all. Not this time.
Uh,
This is a piecewise linear regression line. Alpha 1 is now the average annual growth rate in pre-liberalization era now. Okay. Average annual growth rate in extensive liberalization era.
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ जी बच्चे.
Sir, but the variable t, it takes the values 1 from the starting of the entire series. So when we take that, shouldn't it be for the entire period?
बच्चे now see, this is partial regression coefficient. Alpha 1 will represent the impact of T on GDP, assuming the impact of Z1 and Z2 is constant. Okay. So Z1 and Z2 are acting as control variables. Now alpha 1 will be net of Z1 and Z2 impact. Okay, so that's why this won't be reflecting the entire period growth rate. आपको partial regression याद है B12.3. So impact of x2 on x1, assuming the impact of x3 as constant. Okay,
Okay.
that's why we can't consider them the what do you say entire period growth rate. Entire करने के लिए आपको simple regression estimate करनी पड़ेगी. Log of GDP will be regressed upon t, and now this beta will give you the entire period growth rate, right? When you are estimating a piecewise regression line, then the coefficient of t won't be giving you entire period growth rate. This would be giving you the growth rate before the break period.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
and we are having two breaks in terms of Z1 and Z2. Z1 is obviously R. If you want, Z1 is 0 before 1985 and T minus 1985. Okay, 1985 onwards. Z2 is 0 before 1991. Okay, and T I am assuming it's year. Okay, year minus 1991, 1991 onwards. यहाँ पे भी आप year कर लेना. Okay, so this is the formation of Z1 and Z2, right? So बच्चे, when we are computing sum of these two coefficients alpha 1 plus alpha 2, alpha 1 plus alpha 3, हो सकता है कि sum करने से it is possible that the coefficient, if alpha 1 was significant, probably alpha 1 plus alpha 2 can become insignificant. Okay, so we have to see whether in the sub periods growth rate is statistically significant or becoming statistically insignificant. So that's why the sum of two coefficients, the joint significance of two coefficients will have to be tested. Okay, probably we can set the null hypothesis that this alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 0. Okay, against the alternative alpha 1 plus alpha 2 not is equal to 0, right? So now we are testing this hypothesis. Basically, t can be computed in such a manner that alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap divided by standard error of alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap. Okay, and standard error of alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap can be written as under root variance of variance of alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap, right? Now variance of alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap can be written as variance of alpha 1 cap plus variance of alpha 2 cap. In last lecture, I had shown you how to store variance covariance matrix plus 2 covariance of alpha 1 cap, alpha 2 cap. Okay, this is the formula of variance of alpha. So using this formula, we can compute t statistics for joint coefficient alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap and see whether the sum of the two coefficients is statistically significant or not. Now let us implement this in practice. Open the Gradle.
Excuse
Open
me,
the
sir.
Gradle. हाँ जी बच्चे.
Sir, in this, when we have alpha 1 plus alpha 3, Since this will give us the result net of net of z1, how do we interpret the time? Like for example, when we have alpha 1 plus alpha 2, will this growth rate be till the period of 1991, starting from the beginning?
But alpha 1 cap plus alpha 2 cap will give you the growth rate in seconds, first sub period, that is 85 to 91.
85 to
Okay.
91. Okay, sir.
Alpha 1 cap plus alpha 3 cap will give you the growth rate in second sub period, that is 1991 onwards, right?
Okay, sir.
This is piecewise linear regression. The topic is given in Johnston and Dinardo's econometric book. Okay, you can find the topic in detail in that particular book if you want to read this, the theory relating to the piecewise linear regression model.
Okay.
Find, go to File, Open Data, User File, Desktop. I have obviously the files stored here. The Excel file is, yeah, growth piecewise. I have shared this file with you people. Hope you have downloaded this file. Let us open this file here. Click open. Click OK. Data is available. What I have to do? Go to model, OLS. Dependent is log of GDP. Independent are T, Z1, and obviously Z2. Click OK. So these are the estimates. These are the estimates. So we can see minus 0.08. It means if I multiply it with 100, 8.88 or approximately 8.89% is the growth rate in a negative growth rate. So there is deceleration at the rate of 8.89% in the pre-liberalization era, means pre-85 era. Let me tell you, this is not the data, real data relating to Indian economy. This is just a hypothetical data. I have created random numbers between 50 to 100. आप देखो जो फाइल में कमांड लगी हुई है. See, if you open the Excel file, there is a command in Excel file that I have generated. Example files. Yeah. You can see there is one command RAND between random number between 50 to 100. So these are just random numbers between 50 to 100. I am not taking actual data of GDP for Indian economy. You can take actual GDP data and see the results. But these are not actual. These are just hypothetical data and hypothetical results for example, for a class example. So this, if it is an Indian economy data, if then pre-1985 era, a negative growth rate to the 8.89% is observed. Now we can, we have to see what is the post, what is the growth rate in the mild liberalization era. Let us go to test in the result window. Let us go to test menu. In test menu, we have sum of coefficients. अभी मेरे को कौन कौन सा सम चाहिए आप लोग बताओ. You people tell me what sum I require for 1985 growth rate period to compute the
So
growth rate.
alpha 1 and alpha 2.
Yes, ultimately it is the sum of T and Z1, right? Sum of the coefficients of variable T and Z1 I want to compute. Click OK. So, but you can see the sum of two coefficients is 0.0595%. So, in 1985 to 1991 era, approximately 5.95% growth rate is observed, positive growth rate is observed, and this growth rate is statistically significant at 5% level. यहाँ पे देखिए p value is 0.02, less than 0.05. So at 5% this growth rate is significant. हाँ, अगर मैं if I have to increase the tightness of inference, if I see at 1% level of significance, then this growth rate is statistically insignificant, right? 1% means 0.01. 0.01 से ये बड़ी है ना 0.02. तो 99% confidence पे test करो, then this growth rate is statistically insignificant. But at 5% level, which is the most common level of inference, 5% level of significance, 0.02 is less than 0.05. So it means your sum of coefficient, that is the growth rate in period 1985 to 1991, is statistically significant and positive also at the rate 5.95%. Now let us compute another growth rate. Test sum of coefficients. Now I want sum of t and z2, right? I want to see the growth rate in second period. Click OK. Huge. Is if I go by this trend, then 15.59 means around 15.6% negative growth rate is observed, statistically significant at 5% level here. Okay, so this is the growth rate which is negative in second sub period. So बच्चे, within single regression we have computed growth rate for 3 sub periods. Okay, one is for pre-liberalization, second is for the mild liberalization period, and third is for the extensive liberalization. So 3 sub-period growth rates have been observed with the piecewise linear regression model. Overall growth rate in the entire period, if you want to see, what we have to do, tell me. Go to model, OLS, dependent is log GDP, independent time only, Z1 and Z2 को remove कर दीजिए. Okay. If you want to see entire period growth rate, let us regress log of GDP on T. Click OK. But you see, this is negative. This value is 0.5364. It means near zero growth rate is observed during the entire period. This growth rate is statistically insignificant. ओके, इसको आप 100 से मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हो. 0.19% growth rate will be there, minus 0.19%. Okay. If you see the confidence interval, we can also see the confidence interval for coefficients. We can see this negative to positive. One side lower confidence bound is negative, upper is 0.004. Since this confidence bound contains 0, it means your coefficient is statistically insignificant. Okay, and that has been observed with the p-value also. P is 0.53, much above 0.05. So coefficient is statistically insignificant. बच्चों मेरे को बताओ, do you have any problem in growth rate calculations and test of joint significance of two coefficients, or sum of the two coefficients? So basically the sum of a test of joint significance of some coefficient, we can also see, if just an example, suppose I want to see, okay, if I'm regressing log of GDP on again T, Z1 and Z2. Suppose you want to see the joint significance of 3 coefficients, you can go to test sum of coefficients T, Z1, Z2. तीनों का total you can obtain, and you can test the significance of sum of the coefficients of these 3 variables. This is the sum, and again this is, you can observe, you can see the sum is statistically insignificant since value is above 0.05, p value is above 0.05. So we can see that sum of the 3 coefficients is statistically insignificant. Like I told you, then why will be estimating separately? ठीक है बच्चों? If you have any problem, okay. So, that was about testing the restrictions of no, not testing the restrictions, testing the significance of sum of the two coefficients or three coefficients. Now I will be talking about, I had given you the data of production function, the production function data. Now I am going to tell you people the test of restrictions. Okay. Suppose the production function data is given. I have 100 forms. Okay. I have shared with you people the Excel file of with the name production function data. Suppose y1 is the output, x1 is the labor input, x2 is the capital input. Okay. Log y is the natural log of y1, log x1 is the natural log of x1, log x2 is the natural log of x2. So this is the structure of the data. Let us open the data of 100 forms in Gretel, because we have to test the restrictions. I show you what is the need of the test of restrictions. File, open data, user files, desktop, example files, Excel files, production function data. Okay. The data is open. I have log of y, means hope you people know how to estimate a Cobb-Douglas production function. I am going to estimate a Cobb-Douglas production function. Now what is the Cobb-Douglas production function? Cobb-Douglas production function is y is equal to a k raised to power alpha l raised to power beta e raised to power ui, right? Suppose it's a data of I is equal to 1 to 100 forms. Okay. 100 forms data is there. So how to estimate? We take the log of both sides. Log y I is equal to log a plus alpha log k plus beta log li plus ui, because log e is 1. So this becomes double log function, bache. If I apply method of OLS here, I will be getting log a cap. Okay. I will be getting now log yi cap, means the estimated value of log yi would be log a cap plus alpha cap log ki plus beta cap log li. And hope you know beta cap is the sample estimate of beta, which reflects the labor elasticity of output. Alpha cap is the parameter that represent capital elasticity of output. Okay. Sample estimate of alpha, obviously. We say that alpha and beta are shear parameters also, and if alpha plus beta is equal to unity, I test the hypothesis that whether alpha plus beta is equal to unity or not. If alpha plus beta is equal to unity, this reflects constant returns to scale. Against the alternative, alpha plus beta not is equal to unity. Okay, not is equal to unity means either IRS or DRS. IRS is increasing return to scale, DRS is decreasing returns to scale. Right? Now I have to see which means how again this would be, T statistics, alpha cap plus beta cap, whatever we are getting, minus alpha plus beta that we want to test. We want to test obviously unity, standard error of alpha cap, right? We have the formula standard error of alpha cap plus beta cap is under the variance of alpha cap plus beta cap. Variance of alpha cap plus beta cap is variance of alpha cap plus variance of beta cap plus 2 covariance of alpha cap beta cap. Now this can be alpha cap plus beta cap minus 1, okay, upon standard error, no? Right? Minus 1 because we are testing alpha plus beta is equal to unity. So this would be the test of hypothesis that we are going to apply. So let us first of all estimate the Cobb-Douglas parameters. Ordinary least square. What we will be doing? Log y is the dependent. Log x1, log x2. x1 is obviously our labor, x2 is the capital. Okay, click OK. You can see this is the labor elasticity 0.003 that represent as labor rises percent, output rises by 0.003%. This is statistically insignificant, obviously. Log of the coefficient of log of capital elasticity, as capital is increased by 1%, output also rises but by 0.05%. Statistically insignificant. Okay, we can say that none of the two coefficients are significant, so if it is poor, if it is not good. F statistics देख लीजिए, F is this with a high p value 0.85, much above 0.05. So if it is poor, R square is very low. Anyhow, I just want to tell you people that how to test the restrictions. Go to test. Go to linear restrictions. See, B1 will be my, this is just an example that we are taking from Gretel. So since we have three coefficients, B1, B2, B3, okay, small b square bracket 1 plus b square bracket 2 is equal to unity. This we want to test. Okay, click OK. But these are the statistics. See, b constant plus sorry. Probably we have given the wrong restrictions. b constant नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Test linear restrictions. Sorry, the constant will be your b1. First coefficient will be b2, b3. So b2 plus b3 we have to test. b2 plus b3 is equal to unity. We want to test. Click OK. Bache, this is the restriction which we have to test. Test statistics. F statistics has been reported here. 35.9531 is the statistics that has been reported by this Gretel, and with the p-value 3.4262 e raised to power minus 8, it means near 0.00000, means 8 zeros will be there. Ultimately, we can see that F is statistically significant. Null of CRS is rejected. If null of CR is rejected, then what is the case? Okay, is it CRS or is it DRS? That we have to see. Sum of the coefficient, in any case, you can see from here. Test sum of coefficients, log x1, log x2. If you want to compute sum of the two coefficients, is the sum of two coefficients is 0.0561 ultimately, because Labor's coefficient is very small when capital's coefficient is very small. So it is less than unity. Okay, less than unity. Statistically insignificant we can see, but we can see that we can say that sum is approximately 0. But in any case, if you have to interpret, we can say there is diminishing returns to scale. If this coefficient would have been greater than unity, we had concluded that there exists increasing return to scale. But Since in this case sum is less than unity, it is decreasing returns to scale. Sum is statistically insignificant, near zero we can say that. So neither constant returns exist nor the elasticities are significant. So ultimately, labor and capital are not contributing a lot in this industry. Probably some other inputs are, but some probably some other inputs are relevant in determining output level in this particular industry. ठीक है बच्चों? Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt in test of restriction?
No, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ जी बच्चे.
Sir, to test whether the what kind of returns the industry has, why didn't we directly check the sum of coefficients instead of going through the test of restriction? Is that the
Okay,
correct one?
see, if we are testing sum of coefficient, that is a test equal to zero. Sum of two coefficient is equal to zero doesn't have any meaning in production function. In production theory, sum of the two coefficients is equal to unity means constant returns to scale. Na? Either we go with equal to unity, less than unity, or greater than unity. Greater than unity will give you increasing returns to scale. Less than unity will give you diminishing returns to scale. Equal to unity will give you CRS. So to test what kind of returns to scale exist, that's why I'm testing the linear restriction, that is sum of two coefficient is equal to unity, because equal to unity is the yardstick of constant returns to scale. Equal to zero, just I'm testing whether sum of two coefficients is significant or not.
Okay, sir.
Okay, are labor and capital jointly contributing something to output or not? And we can observe from this test of restriction that uh, sum of two coefficient is jointly insignificant. Probably these two coefficient, these two inputs are not contributing anything. See, the p-value is 0.7215, 72215, isn't it? So sum is 0.05, approximately zero. We can observe this through what you say confidence interval. See the confidence interval. Okay, even
Okay, sir.
confidence interval is very low. So that's why, but just to see whether sum of two coefficients is zero or not, is it are two inputs are two inputs contributing significantly to output or not? I am using this test. Otherwise, to test the restriction that CRS exists or not, we have to see whether sum of two coefficients is equal to unity or not.
Okay, sir.
Equal to unity, if not rejected, अगर ये f वैल्यू में p वैल्यू जो है greater than level of significance होती, then we have to see कि sum is equal to unity cannot be rejected, CRS exists. Since this has been rejected, there are two possibilities, IRS or DRS. IRS DRS में से what is the case? Sum compute करके देख लीजिए. If sum is less than unity, then it's DRS. If it is above unity, then IRS.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है बच्चों, any problem you can discuss.